Why didn't the government release the agitating NDFB Boro youths from jail despite a peace agreement? Why didn't the government release the agitating NDFB Boro youths from jail despite a peace agreement? Did the government negotiate with the armed youths to restore peace in the area, or did the government play the drama of negotiations to arrest them? If the peacemaker have to go to jail after an agreement in the name of peace, then what is that peace agreement? Was the greetings given to the rebels in the name of peace agreement a drama by the government? Why is the government doing such behavior and conspiracy against the Boro, the son of the land? What is the benefit of this to Assam? Assam has been divided into 6 or 7 pieces today due to lack of respect for the indigenous people of Assam. The Boro youths are not terrorists and are not terrorists today. There is injustice done to the Bhumiputro tribal people in Assam. The existence of the land, language, culture of the Bhumiputro tribal people of Assam is under threat. Therefore, the language of the tribal people did not get the first place in Assam today despite being the son of the land. According to the Constitution of India, non-tribals cannot come from outside and occupy and buy land in tribal area. But in violations of the that policy of the Constitution of India, non-tribals from outside have bought and occupied millions of bighas of tribal land. The Assam government has allowed non-tribal to buy tribal land without paying attention to the constitution of the country. This is proof that the government is violating the constitution. They have been deprived of their constitution rights in this way despite being Bhumiputros. Therefore, the Boros are forced to take the part of rebellion to protect their constitutional rights. The original inhabitants of Assam are a non-Aryan, mean Arjo race, and the Bodos are a descendant of that. The Boro are a descendant of that non-Aryan race. So the first Assamese nation is the Boro nation. Boro is the oldest Assamese in Assam. The language and culture of Boros reflects the existence of the original Assamese. The Boros have to leave the characteristics of Assamese in their language, and was the responsibility of the government of Assam and the Assamese intellectual to keep the Boros language and culture alive in Assam to rescue the ancient existence of the Assamese. However, the Boro language is ignored and the emphasis is on the language and culture of Aryan origin, which entered Assam much later than the Boros. They have stopped serving the Boro language and are serving the Aryan language. Therefore, the Boro language, which is related to the early Assamese culture, fell behind. Today, the language of Aryan origin is called Assamese language, and the Boro language with the characteristic of ancient Assamese is included from Assamese status. Assam is not a nation. There was no caste called Assamese in Assam before, and there is no caste today. There are many ethics groups in Assam who have come together to form the Assamese nation. Therefore, it is wrong to call or name any language of Assam as Assamese language. That is a crime against the language, and some Assamese have been seen committing the same crimes knowingly. They have contributed to the partition of Assam because those two words, Assamese language, have damaged the dignity of the native Assamese. That one word does not cover all Assamese equally. The reason why the Nagas, Kashis, Manipuris, and Mizo leave Assam are the same. They were not given Assamese status despite being Assamese. The reason why the Boro, Karbi, Dimasa, and other tribes are living Assam today are the same. Therefore, the Boro and other tribes did not get the name of the word Assamese despite being originally Assamese. Assamese leader and intellectual who want to form a larger Assamese nation should know the Assamese nation well in order to form a larger Assamese nation. They should stop the false dialogues that are going to form a larger Assamese nation by putting the language and culture of the indigenous sons in second place and giving priority to the language and culture of Aryan origin that has migrated from elsewhere, because the truth cannot be hidden. The Boro tribes are the first owner of this Assam. Therefore, the language and culture of the tribes is the main Assamese language and culture of Assam. The use of the Boro signboard in BTC is anti-Assamese and hostile to some parties and organizations who say that Assamese language is not being used. The people should understand that they are identifying themselves by saying that their native tribal language is not Assamese. Just as a crow wear peacock feathered to identify itself as a peacock, it does not become Assamese to identify itself as a Assamese to an Aryan language of Aryan origin. Therefore, giving priority to force tribal language in Assam, keeping aside tribal language and culture, is like building a castle in the sky. There is no way to build a larger Assamese nation with that ideal. The language of Boros of Assam is a local word of Assam. 80% of these are words born in Assam, but the language that is identified today as a Assamese as a more than 80% of words of other language. The language called Assamese today is a mixer word of Bengali, Bajrabali, Hindi, Sanskrit words. This language is not born in Assam. The main carrier of this language is Srimanta Shankardev of Assam. He travels all over India in the name of studying the religion and wrote the Bhagavad religious book. The Bhagavad religious book was written in a mixture words of Sanskrit, Hindi, and Bajrabali. The followers of Shankardev accepted the language in which the Bhagavad religious book was written as the Assamese language. So the language we have adopted as a Assamese today is a language of migration from other places. The recent settlement by the Chief Minister of Assam, Hemanta Biswa Sarma, is based on fake. He said Assam inhabited by the Das, Kolita, Bora, and Sharma today belong to the tribes at one time. The latest statement of the Chief Minister of Assam, Hemanta Biswa Sarma, are based on facts. Assam, where Das, Kolita, Bora, and Sharma live today, once belonged to the tribals of the tribal is rooted in Assamese. The main language of Assam is the tribal language. If ever the definition of Assamese is divine, the tribal of Assam will be the first Assamese. But the All Assam Student Union recently said BTC signboard are written in Boro language, not Assamese language. NKTV said Boros are rebelling against Assamese language in BTC. Assamese writer Sika Sharma said that the Speaker of the Assembly, Biswajit Deimardi, does not know the Assamese language. Statement of Assam Jubo Satra Porishad BTCC Pramod Boro is conspiring to destroy the Assamese language in BTC etc. so that Boro language is not Assamese language. Therefore, the emphasis on the language other than tribal language of Assamese origin means that the Assamese have to put the S in their own pitch. The hateful comments made by some non-tribal against tribal language and culture by identifying themselves as Assamese and servants and owner of Assam have hurt the integrity of Assam. Their thoughts, words and action have created terror and fear in minds of the tribals. The tribals do not see themselves safe in their own homes. Today, tribal have to resort to the violence to protect themselves in their territories to get rid of them. Today, the Boros tribal have to resort the violence to secure themselves in their territory to get rid of them. The most regrettable thing is that instead of the forcing the Boros to resort to violence, the tribal have been described as a violent and criminal caste. The most regrettable thing is that the Boros have been forced to resort to violence and instead have been described as a violent and criminal caste. The movement for the protection of language and culture of tribal has been labeled as insurgents, extremists and terrorists. The Boros tribal is not militant as the claim. The Constitution of India provides for the protection of the land, language and culture of the tribals. The Boro have rebelled to protect the constitutional provision. The government of Assam has not fulfilled its responsibility toward the tribals. Therefore, the Boros youths have to fulfill that responsibility. So, calling the Boro youth terrorists, rebels and militants mean that the Halsar curses to cow to die. The Boro rebels are the Assamese army that recused the ancient Assamese native language and culture. The difference is that the anti-Boros are trying to establish the Aryan language and culture in Assam, and the Boros are trying to rescue the ancient Assamese language and culture. With thanks.